say? Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say that's kind of how it is with like any multiplayer community, and it's like, dude, even the games that shouldn't be toxic can be toxic. In fact, I feel like sometimes the most like you'll find some of the most toxic people in the really relaxed games. Like sometimes when I'll just like randomly play Roblox, not that I've done that in a very long time, or like Minecraft, like sometimes those people go fucking crazy. Yeah, exactly, Papa Puff. Oh, I didn't really understand what you were saying then. Are you just saying that the people who play Smite are maybe a little bit more weird? Like maybe on the weirder side, like maybe are more interested in more like fringe things? Is that what you're saying? Because if you're saying that, I can kind of see that. Like if you compared like maybe the general person that plays Smite compared to somebody who plays like Call of Duty or that plays like Apex, then I could see that they're a little bit more odd, but not like in a bad way. But I think that goes for a lot of MOBA. I think that just goes for MOBAs and maybe even just any like niche community. I feel like with any niche community, it's going to have more of like an odd audience because the more popular games, the more mainstream games are going to be played by the more popular and more like quote unquote like normal or conventional people. And then like the more niche communities are going to have like more niche people, you know? Smite got a lot of gays. Mike said Smite draws damaged individuals and stuff. Well, not necessarily, but I mean, I do think that like just like those fringe communities in those like fringe games or niche games like Smite is, and it's weird because it's just about like like player numbers as well. Like you can't say that like Apex or like Call of Duty Warzone or like League of Legends. You can't say that it's like mostly anybody because there's just so many people that it's just so diverse. Yeah, it's just about the wording though, Mike. Like if you were to just say that it's like a more niche game, so maybe it has like more unique people, then I would like agree. Like dominated by more unique people, because obviously there's probably more unique people that are playing the popular games just by player base alone. But that's just goes for any niche game, like any game that doesn't have a huge community. That's just like it's not the biggest game in the world. It's more like a tier 3 game. Yeah. What Duke said. And what Nemesis just said. I'm not going to try to say the word because every time I say it, I fuck it up. I'll just say a masseuse. When people are like, it's always weird to me when people think that like people that are playing a game are masseuses. And I can understand feeling like that. Like a masochist. Yeah, masochist. There you go. I can understand feeling like a masochist if you're like addicted to a game. But like I think video game addiction is like for sure a thing. I've always thought that. I feel like I've had it in the past. But I'm tired of seeing people be like these, like you guys seen these memes, right? Where it's like, it's the Invincible meme where it's like, oh, when do we start having fun? And then it's like, you never do. And I'm just thinking like people need to be more active in their lives, like take more control of their lives. If they're not having fun playing a game or doing a hobby that they don't enjoy, if it's really that painful, obviously a lot of it's memes. A lot of it's not. It's just like messing around because the game can be every game can be frustrating a lot of the time. But people need to be more like in control of their lives so that they aren't stuck playing games that they don't enjoy. Or better yet, make sure it never gets to that point. If you're like playing game too much, you need to take breaks, like even just like taking breaks throughout the day, but also like little breaks, like take a week off the game and then come back and then feel more refreshed, or try out different stuff in the game. Like don't sit there and play Morgan every single game all day every day, and then you'll get depressed and you'll be like, what am I doing? Like mix it up, go play a different game mode, play a different god. This is specifically for Smite. Yeah, that definitely sucks, Austin, when you're really into a game, maybe even addicted to it, and then they kind of update it in horrible ways that make it unfun, or just you don't enjoy it specifically, and then it kind of goes down the drain. But there's just so many, like there's a million games. Contractual gun, that is. I mean, kind of. But if I really hated, like if I woke up tomorrow, Tyrant, and I was just miserable playing Smite, even competitive, it wouldn't be that hard for me to take a break. Or like tell my team to get somebody else, or, you know, quit. It might hurt me financially, but like I kind of see like Smite and video games as a dream job. So if it gets like, I don't want to be forcing myself into things that I don't enjoy just because it's giving me money. Like if it gets to a point where I have to like either have to do something I don't enjoy and make money off of it, or give it up and do other things, or maybe pursue like a different real career, then like so be it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the internet's so like crazy now that you can do so many different things, not even just through gaming. But like I could imagine a world where I had like a 9-to-5 job and just come home and like, why am I saying it like that? And like I would come home and just stream for a few hours, like maybe every day or every other day. And like I would enjoy that. That wouldn't be bad. You only have one Smite account, fine? Yeah, I only have one, Duke. I've only always had one. It's a joke most of the time, but I'm just tired of seeing tweets like waking up and feeling miserable queuing ranked once again, or like, oh, when do you start having fun? Oh, never. Or like just shit like that. Like the other day when I was streaming Valorant, somebody came in the stream and said, what did they say? They said, you know, you don't get as many viewers playing this game as you do Smite. That was the first thing they said in chat. It's not even like they were talking about it. They just joined the stream and said that. And it's like, I don't care. I literally do not care. And you know what else is weird? People are like, you know what? I think it's also weird when people make a fucking big deal out of Smite being a smaller game, or being like, oh, you ever worried about it dying? Or you ever worried about like the fact that it's small? Like, don't you want to be playing like League of Legends that has 1 million people watching it every day, or something crazy like that? And it's always weird to me because I want you to imagine a childhood game that you liked, that maybe not a lot of people knew about. Okay, just think of a childhood game that you really enjoyed. And imagine when you were younger, somebody told you that you could make like a reasonable, like a good amount of money just playing that game every day, and you just loved it. Doesn't matter how big it is. Like, let's say it's fucking, let me try and think of it. Like Fusion Frenzy. I don't know, maybe a lot of you guys played that, but it's not the biggest game in the world. But Fusion Frenzy, some of you may not know what it is. But if somebody told me like when I was younger that I could make a really good amount of money, not only make a really good amount of money, but have fun, make content for the game, like interact with like thousands of people around the world that are in different countries, meet new people, do crazy stuff just from playing Fusion Frenzy, regardless of how big it is, I'd be like, that is like a dream. That is a dream come true. And that's what Smite is. So when people are like, are you afraid it's gonna die? Are you worried about it dying? I'd be like, I don't really care one way or the other. I mean, obviously I would love to continue playing Smite because I love the game. Can't be worried too much when you're living the dream, you know what I mean? Yeah, I agree, Christian. A lot of times it's just an addiction thing. Starts this week, Katra. Starts on Thursday, I think. Reminds me of my Puffy stream sometimes. Yeah. Feel that low. Case very special, fine. Yeah, I know, but I'm saying specifically for pro players. Like if somebody, because people always tell me like, don't you wish you were a pro in like a bigger game? And it doesn't even work like that. That's the funny part. We were talking about this earlier. I think somebody asked my chat like, what made you want to play Smite Pro as opposed to another game? But it's not like that. You just play a game, you really enjoy it, you try and get better at it, and as long as you're enjoying it, it just gets to a point where maybe you're good enough where you can be a pro at it. It's not like you're like looking at your Steam library, you know what I mean? It's not like you look at your Steam library and you're like, all right, which game can I get really good at and make money off of? Unless you're like some fucking weirdo who's following like some YouTube tutorial on how to be like a professional in a video game. Like nobody reasonable or nobody should be doing that. What you do is you just start playing games that sound fun, and you either maybe stop playing them because you get bored of them. Maybe it doesn't get to a point where you're very good at it. Maybe you just don't like the competitive aspect at it. aspect of it, or you just play the game until you're really good at it and you're having fun the whole time, and then it gets to a point where you can actually be a pro. It also goes like with the monetizable interests are always nice. Yeah, for sure, but I think when you look at it, if you look at it too much about the money and it being like a financial thing when you're playing video games, it can be a little bit, that's when it can be pretty bad, I think. And not only that, but there's games that don't have pro scenes that you can monetize. So just as long as you're having fun playing those games, you could get to a point where you could make money off of it. But I don't know. I feel like the fun aspect should come first, and the actual interest and like the passion for it and everything like that. Because like I used to make like COD montages, and they would get like at most 100 views, and those were like, a lot of those were just my friends and stuff, or me clicking F5 on the page just to see the number go up. And it's like, you should just enjoy the act of making those videos first. And if you don't enjoy that and you're like trying to make it like a job being a pro or just being like content creator or anything like that, and you're not even enjoying it at the beginning, then like you're in a rough spot. Because there's so many of these YouTube videos where like how to make it as a content creator, or like how to grow your channel, or how to like do this, that, and the other. And I mean, a lot of times they give good tips and stuff. Like they say reasonable, good advice, but it just seems so focused on like the monetary aspect of it, or so focused on the actual like the growth, seeing the numbers go up and everything like that. Yeah, I used to make those, Christian, and those actually got some pretty good views. I posted those on the Reddit, and people like watched a lot of those. Not compared to what like the views I get to these days, but Gary V type shit. Oh yeah, exactly. Gain 100 followers in 100 days. Yeah. Like okay, you know what is the best example of it, chat, is when people are like, oh, how to make it big on Twitch, right? And then they're like going through the games and they're like, don't play this game, it'll be too hard to find you. Or they'll do stuff like, you need to find a game that has like a decent community, like a pretty big community, for example, like Smite, but not so big that they'll never be able to find you in the viewer list. And it's so, I feel like that's so backwards, unless you're literally just trying to do it because you're just trying to make it big as a streamer. Then, okay, that more power to you, but it's so backwards to me. Like, no, play what you think is just fucking fun, what you just like as a game, and just start from there. So you don't start from fucking the bottom, which is not having fun while you're doing it. No, it's definitely a strategy. It works, I think, Tyrant, but I just think it's like, I don't know, too focused on the actual fucking like job aspect of it. Because I think 99% of the time, in order to make it big as a streamer, content creator, or any person like that, unless you're insanely talented or insanely entertaining, like Doc, for example, Doc is like, he didn't get lucky, I think. There was some luck involved, but he's just like straight up just awesome entertainment. But like 99% of the other time, besides that exception and maybe some others, it's like mostly luck. Bo Burnham actually talked about this. Have you guys seen Bo Burnham talk about that? Or of course being really good at the game. Like, I don't know, like Tens, for example. He's sick at Valorant, so that's part of the reason he blows up. But Bo Burnham talked about that. He was talking about it in an interview. He's like, what do you have to say to the like young people who are trying to make it big in like the entertainment industry, or like, I don't know, in Hollywood? Or he was like, give up. He was like, give up. I'm insanely lucky to be where I am right now. Which, I mean, I kind of agree with him, but I would say don't give up, but just make sure that you're enjoying what you're doing, so that if inevitably, not inevitably, but more than likely it doesn't work out being like the biggest streamer in the world or biggest content creator or anything like that, at least you had fun along the way, and you're not forcing yourself to do something that you don't even enjoy. In other words, finish high school. Yeah, I feel that, Loyal. I feel that a lot, and I understand. I know that you feel like that. It happens with video games too. Like, if you get to a point where you're like really trying to monetize video games, or monetize like what you're doing, spending all this time on, then it seems like any time that you put into like a different game is a waste of time. Or, you know, any time that you're playing a video game and you're not making YouTube video or streaming it or doing some sort of like something like that, it can feel like that, but just gotta remind ourselves not to do that. If you're having fun, it's never a waste of time. It's good to be selfish in regard to your own happiness, trying to be a nice guy, or always accommodate your chat, and being miserable playing a game is incredibly exhausting. Yeah, exactly. And then just instantly becomes like a regular job. And I don't think it's hard for you to blow up if you just treat it like a regular job, I think. Although you should definitely try and like grow and stuff like that, as long as you're having fun in the meantime. The YouTube stuff that I was just talking about, where you should just enjoy like making a YouTube video, even if it gets like 15 views, but you put a lot of effort into it and you just are happy with it. You enjoy watching it, you enjoy making it, everything, editing, if you're editing it, doing all that. The same thing applies to streams, where you should just be content with streaming to 3 viewers, one of them being Nightbot and the other one being your mom, and maybe the other one being yourself on another account. You should just enjoy doing that for as long as you need to in order to grow. And what helps is playing games that you actually enjoy. But like, because it's pretty likely if you're like a brand new streamer, especially now with how overly saturated Twitch is, like it's insane. Like you should just have to be content with that. Consistency in streaming is probably the biggest thing. Second is enjoying it and being entertaining. Yeah. Although consistency is a weird thing, because it's like you can be incredibly consistent, literally 8 hours every single day, and it can be incredibly taxing and also maybe never even work. So it can be rough for sure. Thing is, just stream, you're going to play the game anyway, so it's one extra viewer. That's true, but you also have to be comfortable with like talking to yourself, because that's what you're going to be doing all the time. Like I remember there's some like Smite like pro players and content creators that started making YouTube videos, and they said that it was weird just talking to themselves, because that's what you do. Like if I were to make a play-by-play right now on YouTube on Smite, I just sit there and talk to myself for 30 minutes. And a lot of people aren't comfortable with that, or maybe even think it's like just hard. And I understand that. And that's definitely something that you have to get better at when it comes to streaming, especially as a small streamer. I feel kind of weird when I'm recording though. Yeah. I mean, it's gotten to a point where me, I'm not really talking to myself, because I know that like at least a decent amount of people will watch it, which is really nice and really encouraging. But when you're starting out or when you're trying to grow, that's definitely what happens. Yeah, exactly. Rough accent. There's a lot of streamers, I bet, that don't ever make it off the ground or never get discovered, because people just join their stream and they're just not even talking, or don't even have their cam on, which obviously cam's a big thing. I can't really speak for everybody else, because I am biased, because I've always enjoyed making YouTube videos. I really like YouTube videos. I really like movies. I really just like the act of video, audio, anything, editing, watching it, setting it up, like anything like that. So I'm a little bit biased, but I swear that just making videos is fun, and just putting like your creativity into something. Question is what to talk about. Whatever you're passionate about, whatever you like. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's not important to everybody. I think if you were to poll like the general Twitch audience, like it'd probably be like 60% prefer cam and 40% don't really care. I mean, nowadays YouTube like is just all about the trending. It's all fucking mainstream music, mainstream like interviews on like late night TV shows. It's like it's all fucking like corporate. It's all corporate, dude. The government listening to us. No. I sound kind of like a fucking stoner, but it really is that. And reactions and recycled content. That's what it really is. Fucking recycled content on cooldown. Yo, Nerium, thanks for the tier 1 sub, man, and welcome to the Fonzo family. I appreciate it. And I watch a lot of reaction videos, though. To be fair, I do watch a lot of reaction videos, and they are entertaining. But at the same time, there's just so much reaction stuff, or so much people talking about other people's content, making fun of it, or disagreeing with it, or saying this person's like horrible, drama, stuff like that. And I always look at it, I'm like, do these people ever have any original ideas of their own, or any of their own original content? Yeah, there's a lot of big YouTube streamers, but they didn't really make it big on YouTube. They went over it because they got a contract. They made it big on Twitch, and they were bought out by YouTube for a contract to just stream on them. Thanks, time like that. Combination of me, Loyal, and lately Bria with the fucking awesome thumbnails. All right, I should probably go to bed, but I do. Oh, and also with the thumbnails, do you guys ever watch YouTubers that, like, I understand clickbait. I personally feel like we, Loyal and I, never clickbait something that isn't in the video, or at least kind of in the video. Especially with thumbnails. Like, most of the time the thumbnails are just like basically what's in the video with a little bit of like clickbait and stuff like that. But there's like these clickbaits, especially with Valorant. These clickbaits that like, that person's not even in the video. Like the thumbnail has somebody in it that's literally not in the video at all. Like I saw a Sage video the other day with XQC in the thumbnail, and he wasn't in the entire video, wasn't in it. My fiance left me because of this game. That's more like a joke because I'm playing against her and we were going back and forth, and she was like, you know. And that's a rare example as well. And that's not like, come on. I hate the Easter egg videos pointing at literally nothing. Yes. Yeah, it's been happening with those too, with like Loki and stuff. And like Screen Crush and all these like those kind of videos as well. Good discussion though. I like talking to you guys. Do you guys brain? I think it's scientifically proven that brains work better at night. Well, not for everybody, but my brain definitely works better at night, especially right before bed. Do you guys ever just come up with the greatest ideas and greatest plans and greatest things right before bed? And then you're like, that sounds awesome, I'm gonna do that. And then you wake up the next day and you're like, I don't want to wake up.